Sahana vavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitvaram Vasudev Vasutam Devam Kamsa Chanunamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. We are seeing the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we are in the important section of this chapter, and especially from shlokas number 18 to 32, the main section of Dhyan Yoga Bhagavan talks about. We have reached shloka number 28. Last week we saw shlokas 24, 25, 26, and 27. And in here, Bhagavan talks about the importance of bringing our attention back to meditation when our mind continuously slips out. It is only with effort we bring mind back to this seat of meditation. So that is what this particular section we are seeing. Shloka number 28. Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. So in this particular shloka, the joy of meditation is what is talked about, that in this very, very difficult spiritual practice of meditation, when we engage in, there has to be a reason. We put our mind through so much difficulty to bring our mind to single pointedness, to free our mind from all types of agitations and preoccupations. So when we free the mind of its own preoccupations, of various desires that smitten it, the worries and the anxieties which disturb the mind, when we free this mind of it, the mind becomes silent. And this silent mind, over here Bhagavan is saying, Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha. Yogi, the meditator, vigata kalmashaha, devoid of all types of agitations of the mind. Over here, it is talked about all material contaminations. What is actually implied over here is the material world which contaminates or disturbs the mind. That is referred to as the material contamination. The material contamination is none other than the ability of the material world to disturb the mind. So yogi, vigata kalmashaha, devoid of all types of mental agitations, all different types of inner movement, kampanam. And that movement of the mind in our scriptures, it is also referred to as sin. You know, in higher textbooks of Vedanta, what is referred to as sin is none other than a mind which has lost its inner silence. Amazing how our rishis define sin. At a very low base level, when we inflict injury upon a jiva, upon a being, a person, ill will or something like that, we call it a sin. But at a higher level in meditation, any type of movement of mind is considered to be a sin. You know, some desire which doesn't allow us to quietly enjoy meditation. So in Gurudev's textbook over here, Vigata Kalmashaha, free from sin. Someone may think, what is this sin? So what is mentioned is, in the higher level Vedantic textbooks, any type of movement of mind, if the mind doesn't abide in quietude, if the mind doesn't abide in silence, if we cannot drag the mind's ability to come to where we are, and that mind just leaves us, that is considered to be sin. We don't necessarily have to inflict pain upon somebody else. We are inflicting pain upon our own self by the mind which is not coming along in the journey that the jiva wants to go in. That is considered to be a sin at a higher level. So yogi, the spiritual aspirant, the meditator, vigata kalmashaha, devoid of all types of mental imperfections, such a yogi, evam yunjan sada atmanam. In this way, the yogi is supposed to unite themselves in the higher thought. So, you know, the sadhana that we can pick up from just this particular shloka, even before we sit down for meditation, is to make sure that in our daily living, we don't agitate the mind. We don't disturb the mind's peace. Any type of running commentary will disturb the mind's peace. Even self-negativeness, that also injures the mind quite a bit when we look down upon ourselves. We should not look down upon ourselves. If we make a mistake, acknowledge it and make a mental note not to repeat the mistake again and move on, but to beat ourselves up and to continuously point fingers that, oh, I didn't do this properly. Oh, I didn't do this properly. That type of inappropriate behavior with our own self, it doesn't allow us to progress on the flight of meditation. We should have a very healthy self-esteem. Very important. This is a spiritual aspirant always is observant in life about this. The mind is kept upbeat. So that's what is meant by evam, in this way. Sada, always. Atmanam, the self. Yunjan, may we come to unite. If we are not uniting ourselves in the seat of meditation, while we are walking around and doing our chores and attending to the calls of life, we should always keep this mind upbeat. An optimistic mind is what is referred to as evam sada atmanam yunje. Very important. In the seat of meditation, of course, sitting down and meditating. But while walking around and living our life, that is also a type of meditation. Meditation of living life. So this is what is referred to over here. Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham. And in the seat of meditation, when that mind is silent, it is as though Brahma, absolute, that Om, absolute Om over here, talked about that Om, Brahma, the qualityless, the nameless, the formless, the absolute presence, samsparsha, as though we are touching it. Sukhena Brahma samsparshan. So Sukhena, that over here it is said transcendental happiness, but what is meant by is easily, very easily one is able to come in union with the higher self. Sukhena, very easily. Brahma samsparshan, uniting with the absolute, Brahma samsparshan, and atyantam sukhamashnute. Atyantam sukhamashnute, the person enjoys great amount of happiness. The person abides in happiness. Actually, in meditation, the process of meditation, which is a verb, an action, doing something, takes us to an identity of ours, which we already are, but in the process of living life, we forgot our own identity. And when we come to this awakening, when we are united with our own identity as Brahman, all of a sudden, meditation, the verb changes into noun. It is no longer an action, but it is a noun which owns up my own nature. So the first line of this shloka is a verb. Yogi vigata kalmasham sada atmanam yunjet evam. That is a verb. And when that is done for dirgha kal, for a long period of time, what happens? sukhena, easily, Brahma samsparsha, as though they will touch. Meaning, they will be united. And what is the nature of this? Brahman atyantam sukhamashnute. They enjoy absolute bliss because my nature is bliss. So verb now becomes a noun. The second line is a noun. And it says, I'm united with my own nature. I'm united with my own self. This is sukham atyantam sukham ashnute. That person enjoys absolute type of bliss. Continuing, shloka number 29. Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. So now these three shlokas, 29, 30, and 31, these three shlokas are very unique. These three shlokas are describing the state of realization. And the state of realization, the culmination of meditation, is when we are united with our own nature. And what is our own nature? Our own nature is, I am that. What is that I am? I am existence, consciousness, bliss. That is revealed in these shlokas 29, 30, and 31. There is a famous Vedic aphorism from Chandogya Upanishad which says, Tat Tvam Asi. That thou art. That is referred to as existence, consciousness, bliss. Thou is referred to as this identity, this individuality, which is going in search for that. So I am, in essence, that absolute being, is what that thou art is. So these three words, that thou art, tat tvam asi, these three syllables are taken, three words are taken. And in this particular shloka number 29, tvam pad is talked about. Tat pad, tvam pad, asi pada. Portion. So what is talked about over here is tvam pada lakshana, the nature of thou. And who is this person? So what is mentioned over here is sarva bhutasthamatmanam. This atmanam, this capital S self, sarva bhutastha. This capital S is in all embodied souls. All embodied souls, all embodied beings are nothing but in essence capital S. So sarva bhutastha, in all beings Atmanam. This self is. And Sarva Bhutani, and all beings, they are in the self. So one is, when we say the self is in all beings, then someone may think that there may be a little piece, some tukda of Bhagavan in every being. But that's not what is referred to over here. Then Paramatma would have part, and a part is limited. So Paramatma cannot be limited. Bhagavan cannot be in parts. All different parts put together becomes one whole. No. So to negate that, now in the second, over here in the second quarter is said, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani, and all beings are in this Atma. So first quarter said, this capital S self is in all beings. And the second quarter is now saying all beings are in this self. So naturally a person wonders, what is this? Who is in what over here? So what is meant by when it is said Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam, the capital S self in all beings, the awareness aspect, the Chit Swaroop, the consciousness aspect is in all beings, and that is shining in all beings. Every being is alive. So the Chit Swaroop is pointed out in the first quarter. And when it is said, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani, and all beings are in self, what is talked about is the existence principle is talked about. So, Sat Swaroop, existence is talked about. First quarter is Chit Swaroop, second quarter is existence. Existence. All beings abide in this one homogeneous mass of existence, which is pure awareness. Sarva Bhutastamatmanam, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani, Ikshyate Yoga Yuktatma. Yoga Yuktaha, the one who is completely abiding in meditation. The yoga of meditation is referred to as Yoga Yuktatma. Atma, the Jivatma, the embodied soul, the spiritual aspirant, the meditator who is sitting for meditation, that meditator, Ikshate. Over here, the word Ikshate is used, sees. But what is referred to is not literally sees, but comes to know. Experiences. Even experience is not an appropriate word, because experience means experience comes and experience goes. But the experience of Brahman is absolute. It ever is. So it comes, but it doesn't go. So the only thing rishis can use is as though I'm seeing you and you are seeing me. One acknowledges in meditation self exactly like that, meaning without any discrepancy. We don't dispute what our eyes see. We see it. And as we see it, we acknowledge it and we transact with it. Same thing, without the eyes, it is the eye of the mind which sees. And it sees self more clearly than the fleshy eye which sees the duality. So, ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. And the person now, the vision is transformed. They will only see the self, the self, the self. So, seeing duality, seeing multiplicity, seeing differences, they put the differences aside and they see the absolute, which is expressing itself as multiplicity. So they give their own awareness to the existence principle. They give the acknowledgement to the existence principle and sarvatra samadarshanaha. Now, whatever they see only Bhagavan. They only see, so tvam, thou, we all, when we meditate, first we see the self as not just within us, but then when we open and we see, the whole world basks in the presence of this self and self alone. So, the common example which is taken in scriptures is mud and mud pot. In all mud pots, mud alone is the reality. In all gold ornaments, gold alone is. We may call it a bangle, an earring, a nose ring, an anklet, but in reality, beyond the name, what exists is gold alone. So that is what is referred to over here, Sarva Bhutastamatmanam. In all different types of ornaments, gold alone is. And all ornaments exist only in gold. All mud pots exist in mud. And in mud alone, all the mud pots are created. So this example of a mud pot and gold ornaments, mud and mud pot is given to explain. The individual mud pot or the individual ornament is nothing but in essence either mud or gold. But it is the mud pot that realizes, I am mud alone. Or the gold ornament which realizes, I am gold. Happens to be in a shape which has a utility value of a nose ring or an earring or an anklet, but in essence, I am gold. Continuing, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. So over here, yaha, he, she, whoever is a meditator, mam, me, the capital S self, me, yo mam pashyati sarvatra, the one who sees me, capital me, everywhere. And sarvam chamai pashyati, and everything they see in me, tasyaham na pranashyami, and tasyaham, tasya, for that person, aham, I, na pranashyami, I am not lost. And sachamena pranashyati, and such a person is not lost to me, because there are no two people. There's only one person. So what is mentioned over here is tatpad, that. And that in Tvam, we have so many different beings. Mud pot A, mud pot B, mud pot C, mud pot D, mud pot E. So there are so many mud pots. There are so many gold ornaments. But over here, that was in shloka number 29. But here in shloka number 30, what is mentioned over here is not the individual mud pot or the individual ornament. What is referred over here is me, the gold, or me, the mud. So, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra, the one who sees me as gold alone and sees Sarvam Chamai Pashyati and sees every ornament existing only in the gold. So, only gold is seen. When we go take an ornament to a jeweler, the jeweler puts on his little, bilori kach and will go look right through it. We may say, this is 200 years old. This used to belong to my great, great, great grandmother. And she worshipped this Lord Rama. And then my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, they have worshipped. That goldsmith is not going to care about who's worshipped what. Even Rama, he doesn't care about. He only worries about whether it is gold. Soni ni aankh, sona uppar, bas. He could care less whether it is Rama, whether it is Shiva, whether it is 200 years old, whether it is 100 years old. He wants to know how many carats it's bus. That is the end of it. The goldsmith, no matter what we take to him, he is looking for gold. He only sees gold. Is it pure? Based upon that, he will tell you a value. You may say that, 200 years old, he could care less. So, that is called Sarvatra Mai Pashyati. Soni's drashti, a goldsmith's vision, Sarvam cha Mai eva Pashyati. He will see only gold. He wants to see gold. Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra. And the one who sees, wakes up into the fourth in meditation, the Turiya, the one awakened to the highest. When the Jiva hood drops and the Absolute alone rises, and that Absolute alone, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra. And when the person sees that and that alone, and Sarvam Chamai Pashyati, and sees all individual beings not as individual beings, but sees all individual beings as none other than the glory of Absolute and Absolute alone. Through individuality, Absolute alone is recognized. That over here, Bhagavan is saying to such an awakened soul who sees not the difference, but the homogeneous existence awareness, sacha me na pranashyati, tasya ham na pranashyati, sacha me na pranashyati. Bhagavan says, for tasya aham, for such a person, I do not disappear. And Bhagavan says, for me, such a person doesn't disappear. Why? Because there are no two people, there is only one person. He's awakened to that. So that is what is talked about over here as Tatpada. That alone is. A leap is made from thou to that. And there are no two thats, there's only one. And thus, Bhagavan says, for him, I don't vanish. And for me, he doesn't vanish because he and me are not two, they are one. That is what is said in this shloka. This 29, 30, and 31, these are little tall order shlokas. Very powerful shlokas. This is a summary of the Vedic teaching. These are teachings of Upanishads, the essence of Vedas. Continuing, next shloka. We'll see shloka number 31. Sarvabhutassthitam yo mam bhajatyekatvamasthitah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. Sarvabhutassthitam yo mam bhajatyekatvamasthitah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. Sarvabhuta sthitam yomam. So, yaha, he, whoever, ekatvam asthitah, the one who is abiding in this one, ekatvam asthitah, sarvabhuta sthitam mam bhajati. That person who abides in this one, which abides in all beings, mam, me alone, bhajati. Such a person worships me and me alone. This shloka is the equalizing of that and thou. That indeed is thou. So, tat tvam asi, that thou art. So, art is equating two sentences, equating two words. But it is not like mathematics where 2 equals 2 or an apple equals apple. Because over here, we are seeing plurality. We are seeing multiplicity. And in multiplicity, we see a man, we see a woman, we see a dog, we see a cat, we see gold, we see clay, we see earth, we see the 5 great elements. So we see the universe in such a myriad forms. And each form has a name. So now we have to assimilate the multiplicity into one. While seeing duality, while seeing multiplicity, the two eyes see multiplicity, but the eye of the mind negates the multiplicity and sees the one uniting factor in all. This is knowledge. And when such a union is seen by the eye of the mind and not by the two physical eyes, for such a person who's awakened to that one behind the plurality, such a person is never ever misguided by this world, because they have known the secret of the universe. They have known the essence of the universe. Thus, over here it is called Asi. In essence, I am Bhagavan. I am not in this form literally Bhagavan, but my nature is that of the nature of Bhagavan. And my nature is existence, consciousness, bliss. And the nature of Bhagavan is existence, consciousness, bliss. But I may have taken a form to do a particular task. Each one of us has taken a form to fulfill our own individual swadharma. But within the realm of swadharma, in essence, we are that. So sarva bhuta sthitam, in all beings, mam bhajati, he worships me. When we see a sparrow, and through that sparrow we are reminded it is Paramatma. When we see a cow, through a cow we are reminded it is Paramatma. When we see a stone and we see the existence principle of Brahman, we don't want to injure a sparrow. We don't want to hurt a cow. And now we don't want to kick a rock. The rock also has a place in this universe. It may be insentient, but it enjoys the existence of Paramatma. It enjoys the same principle of existence as Brahman. So there's nothing wrong with a rock. That is called over here, ekatvam asthitaha. Seeing duality, yet seeing one principle of existence. Sarvatha vartamanupi. In all sarvatha, in all aspects, in all regards, in all respects, vartamanaha, while living, while participating in life, present participle, vartamana, vartaman kal, present tense. So, sarvatha vartamanaha api saha yogi mayeva vartate. Such a yogi, while living life, when he or she recognizes me and me alone in all aspects, that yogi actually is me. This is the Asipad. This is where the Tata and Tvama are consolidated, that thou art. Now the yogi in the seat of meditation in him sees the higher. Then the yogi in meditation not only sees himself but all beings. Now the yogi, having come out of meditation, sees the world as nothing but the existence of Bhagavan and Bhagavan alone. So yogi mai vartate. The yogi exists in me and me alone. And the yogi actually is none other than me. The meditator now has regained a new status as awakened soul. This is a very unique teaching. I realized these 3 shlokas were a little tough. Now, Bhagavan is summarizing the whole meditation in shloka 32, and then from 33 onwards changes the subject matter. A completely different subject matter within the realm of meditation. We will see that next week. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.